All right, this is Patrick Rogers, and today we have the privilege to have Kyle Ewing on the show. And Kyle is the CEO of TerraSlate Paper. Welcome to the show, Kyle.
Hey, thanks for having me. Big fan.
Yeah, awesome, man. Appreciate that. So Kyle transitioned from corporate career to entrepreneurship in 2014 after founding Guerrilla Tags ID Systems, which he exited in 2015, 1 year later, which is pretty impressive. He now leads TerraSlate Paper, producing waterproof paper for various industries, including military and biotech firms. He collaborates with entrepreneurs and venture capitalists in tech and renewable resources, leveraging his experience in supply chain management, analytics, and business operations. Before entrepreneurship, Kyle was a senior supply chain manager at Brightstar Corporation, focusing on supply chain optimization, data analytics, particularly in the wireless phone industry. He's also worked in procurement, marketing analysis, and business consulting. Kyle holds a BSBA and an MBA from the University of Denver, both very impressive, where he established the Seven Ribbons Foundation for Cancer Research. An accomplished athlete, he won the 2009 Mount Kilimanjaro Marathon, completed 2010 Ironman, triathlon in Australia, and has summited notable peaks like Mont Blanc. His achievements include Entrepreneur of the Year by Worldwide Who's Who and setting an official land speed record at the Bonneville Salt Flats. Pretty awesome stuff that you're getting done outside of the business world. You know, winning is no stranger to you. I can't wait to dive into this more, Kyle. Before we do, though, what's one interesting fact, besides all the ones that I just read off, what's one interesting fact about you that not many people know, man?
One interesting fact is I picked up the guitar during COVID, and I made a commitment to play 100 hours a year. And so with that comes 18 minutes a day or something like that. So, and I've stuck with it through COVID, and I have continued to do it till now.
Very cool. What kind of music are you playing, and what level are you at now? What would you consider yourself?
I play a lot of hits. I play stuff that people can sing along to. I like it. I like to do it late night with friends after the bar, or hanging around like a fire table, something like that. And my level is playing farmers markets. Like I recently did a couple farmers markets in Denver, and then got to play at the Fairmont Orchid in Hawaii last week on my birthday, actually.
Awesome. Cool. Last week was your birthday. Which day?
November 19th. So I guess last month is what I should say now.
I asked my birthday was Friday, so that's cool. I play guitar too, man. But it sounds like you really just took it to a whole nother level very quickly. And so you're playing and singing in front of people as well, or are you just playing? You playing? Yeah, you are singing.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I signed up for guitar lessons at this school nearby my office, and I got there on the first day, and the lady was like, "Okay, let me hear you play." And she's like, "Okay." She's like, "Let me hear you sing." And I was like, "Yep, got it." Did a little bit, and she's like, "All right, I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Nobody cares if you can play the guitar. They only care if you can sing." And I was like, "Deborah, what do you mean by that? Like, come on, I know a lot of guitar players get paid to play the guitar." And she's like, "If you're gonna be a singer-songwriter or a solo artist, the guitar comes second. People listen to your voice, and the guitar is only a supplement." And that was really good advice. Really good advice.
Yeah. So then you took singing lessons after that?
Yeah, she wouldn't help me with guitar anymore. We went straight to voice lessons, and been doing that for about 2 years now.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Congrats on that. It's awesome to be able to be committed to something that, hey, I'm just going to do it. And then every day do it. It's kind of like the turning point that they talk about. The difference between people who are super successful is the ability to not take these huge leaps, but just do a little bit every day. It's the small habits.
That's exactly right. It's that discipline of every single day. It's a habit. It doesn't matter rain, snow, shine, got to wake up early on a flight. I've played it on a bus at the airport between terminals in Munich. I play it every night for my little girl going to bed, no matter what time zone I'm in. So it's been a real pleasure.
Cool. Who's the guitar signed by?
The guitar behind me is actually signed by my staff. And these are the employees that have been with us for 2 years or more.
Nice.
So it's a piece of culture we keep here.
Cool. Well, so speaking of TerraSlate, tell us about TerraSlate and a bit of your journey that has brought you to where you are now.
Yeah. So back in 2014, I had this idea that I was going to make a paper substrate that replaced the need for lamination. And it just seemed like lamination is really old technology. And what I didn't like about it specifically is that A, it cracks, peels, and frays. B, it's not recyclable. And the reason it's not recyclable is that you're effectively taking a piece of recyclable paper and then sandwiching it between two pieces of plastic. And then there's no cost efficient way to separate those back out. So what happens is it cannot be recycled and it goes straight to the landfill. So I developed TerraSlate Paper, and the purpose is to replace the need for lamination, meaning that the paper is waterproof and rip proof. It's 100% recyclable, and you can print it in one step. So you put it in any laser printer, any copy machine, you click print, it comes out. You don't have to do any further steps, and it's waterproof. So one fun example is NFL teams, like the Philadelphia Eagles, among a whole bunch of others, they use it in their play charts. So you'll see those on the practice field and on game day.
Totally. Yeah. So they can print it out. They got it in front of them, and it's totally waterproof. Nothing's going to run. And do you have to use, what about the ink? Do you have to use like a special kind of ink with it, or just whatever comes in the ink cartridge?
Yeah, what's cool is whatever comes in the ink cartridge, as long as it's laser based, it's not like a liquid ink. Like liquid ink is not going to stick well to waterproof paper. But a copy machine, a laser printer, they use toner and heat, works great. You don't need anything special.
Wow, that's very cool, man. Very cool. Awesome. So what do you think are some of the things that has led you? I mean, you've had fantastic growth, over the last few years. What are some of the strategic things that you guys have done to be able to leverage that and create that growth in your company?
Two of the things that I love talking about are EOS, which is also known as the Entrepreneurial Operating System, and Culture Index. And I'll start with Culture Index. What it is it's a piece of software that includes a survey, and you send it to a candidate, and in 7 minutes, they click through some adjectives about themselves. It tells you who they are innately. So what that means is you can find out, is this person predispositioned to do sales? Do they like repetitive tasks? Do they hate repetitive tasks? Is this a natural born leader? Is this like a wild man that's going to be a whole lot for you to handle, and you better hang on if you bring this person into your organization? Or is this going to be the person that bobs along, does an okay job, but is never a star performer? And maybe that's okay. There's a lot of positions in organizations where you need people that do work and they can follow a process. It would never make sense to have a team full of all high performance leaders. You need somebody to like buckle down and get the work done. The other thing I love is internally, it lets you know, is the person in the right seat? So you have everybody on your staff retake the survey on a regular basis, and it gives you two outputs. And one is the graph of who they are, and the other is the graph of who they're having to be while they're at work. So I'm sure many of you out there have had a job where you have to be the person you're not. And the way that manifests is you're just unhappy at work, and you find various things to blame it on, but really it's because it's not a fit. You're not in the right seat. So our goal at TerraSlate is always to make sure we have the right person in the right seat. And then when we're hiring, we know exactly what type of person we need to hire for this position, so that when they come in, that they're wildly successful. So
I love that.
Number two, EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. The easiest way to explain it is a highly disciplined methodology for running a business. It comes with predetermined meetings with very specific agendas. And what it boils down to is everybody has a quarterly rock, something that they're working on besides the day-to-day of their business or their piece of the business that moves the business along further. It makes it a better place to work. It helps grow the company. It improves the process. Those are the types of things that are rocks. And those are done on a quarterly basis. And then after that, there's a scorecard. Everybody has a number. My number is typically tied to sales, but there are numbers from quality control all the way to the profitability of the graphic design department. So everything in the company is measured and tracked, and it's reviewed every week at a very specific meeting called an L10 meeting. I love the system. If you haven't heard about it, take a look on YouTube. You can implement it with an implementer or free. Like I don't get anything for plugging these guys. But I'm a believer in the system, and I think it's a really effective platform to run a business on.
No, I love that. Both of those systems are highly effective. And as a business consultant, I've implemented similar things to EOS. Whether it's combinations of different things. But if they're a company and they're less than or $1 million or more, or even close to that, and they're not running on an EOS or something similar, they're leaving a lot on the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah, things become chaos. Different people think they're responsible for different things. There is no continuous improvement. All they are is maintaining status quo and stabilization at best.
I love the way you say that,
Yeah.
because when one person owns something, it gets done. When two people or more own it, it's really hard to get it over the finish line. There can be a lot of collaborators on a project, but you need one person to own it and see it from start to finish.
Gotcha. So the culture index, I want to go back to that real quick. I've known a lot of clients, and I recommend culture index to a lot of people. I think it's a phenomenal system. Do you use that for every new applicant or acquisition target in the company, or is that just a managerial thing, supervisors?
We use it all the time. I literally have my mom and my father and my wife and my friends and my business partners. I have even I had an attorney take it. And the reason is it allows me to understand who I'm communicating with. So for instance, at TerraSlate, we build what we call a culture index one pager, and it goes on everybody's office door or on their desk or at their station. And that way, when you walk up, you can immediately read the type of communication that this person responds best to. So maybe it's very highly detailed. Maybe it's very brief and to the point. Maybe they need, they prefer email or communication via email. They don't want you to walk up to the desk with direction. Maybe they like praise in public. Maybe they like private recognition. And these are all really important things that you can find out about people with this survey. And so the way we leverage it when we're hiring, kind of answer your question, is internally, everybody that's done this position in the past or that will work with this person takes the internal version of the survey. Then what we figure out is the output is one of maybe 2 or 3 profiles. And that's telling us these are the 1, 2, or 3 types of people you want to hire for this role. Then we post the job on LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, wherever it is. And we have everybody that applies that meets the basic screening criteria take the survey. And when they take the survey, then we filter by the results that match that profile or profiles that we're looking for. And then we're only calling and scheduling interviews for those people. So it's shortened the amount of time it takes to review candidates immensely. And we're getting better candidates in the right seat faster, which has totally changed our business over the last 2 years since we started using it.
Gotcha. And do you work with a consultant from Culture Index that works you through all of this, or is it something like you just go there and it's kind of like you use it on your own?
There's a 2-day training that you send your managers to. And then we work with somebody, shout out to Chaz Mascarino. He's our go-to guy, and he's basically the like ninja level guy that when we have a question, we bring it to him, and he can read the tea leaves better than we can. And so that's really helpful to have somebody like that.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. I know we had talked about prior in the pre-talk, one of the biggest failures that you've learned from as a CEO is being on a cost plus basis at some point in your past. Tell us more about it. And by the way, this is something one of the first things we look at with our clients is, are you on a cost plus, or are you actually on a true margin pricing? So I would love to hear your story and what you've learned there.
Sure. So when you develop a new product, the first question is, how do you price it? And the easiest, and I'll even say the laziest way, is to do a cost plus. And what that means is, say it costs you $1 to make it, and you want to have a 50% margin, you're going to charge $1.50 for it.
Right.
Okay. And that's fine, because you're going to cover your cost, and maybe you've done some analysis. That's what you need to charge in order to make money on it. But what you didn't realize is that the market may or may not be willing to pay that price. And maybe they're willing to pay $3 or $8 or $20. And you're selling yourself short if you don't find that out, because you take the quick and easy method, which is just figure out your costs and add a margin onto it. So I think the best way to test pricing is the standard A/B test. Put it out in the market at one price, and put it out in the market at another price and see what works. Like run a little regression, figure out what the sweet spot is, and the market will tell you very quickly what it's worth.
Gotcha. No, I love it. Yeah. So it's not just, and it's amazing because a lot of people, and I don't know if you've seen this in your industry, but do you see people when they're starting that new product, instead of maybe even going to cost plus, they'll analyze what their competitors are doing, what everybody else is doing, and just find some price kind of in the middle or maybe on the low end to enter into the market. Do you see that as well in your space?
Sure. Yeah. And like internally, we call that feel good pricing. Like, well,
right.
Does it feel good if it's that price? Would you pay that much?
Right.
That can be helpful. That's a data point. But I always tell people don't sell on price, sell on value. And here's what I mean. Like, it doesn't matter if you're the highest price on the market, you ought to be able to lead the market because you provide the most value for that price. The super easy example that everybody knows is Apple, right? They sell $1,000 cell phones, unbelievably expensive. And if you'd said that to somebody, not too long ago, they would have been like, I wouldn't even buy a computer for $1,000, much less a cell phone. And now so many of us dish out $1,000 every 2 years to get a new cell phone. And it's like just, it's like, it's nothing. And it's still $1,000. But what they're selling you is the Apple ecosystem, the quality of the product, the ability to return it if it's broken, the convenience of it, the App Store. All of these things are the value that they're giving you that's making you justify that in your mind. And a big part of that is status, right? Like if all your friends have an Apple iPhone and one guy doesn't, does that guy feel like the odd man out? And then does maybe he go buy an iPhone? Sometimes that's value. And you can leverage all of those pieces into it. So what I remind my own sales team is that we don't sell on price. We don't do discounts. We don't do buy one, get one. We don't do Black Friday deals. We set the price and the price is the price is the price, because we know that we're delivering more than enough value for that. And we know that because our customers that buy from us again and again and again and again and again.
Awesome. I just want to kind of re-emphasize what you just said to the listeners out there is to don't do discounts. We don't do Thanksgiving. We don't do Christmas discounts. We don't, any of that stuff, because we've identified the value. And that's one of the most important things too, is have that unique value proposition in place and justified so that you can charge whatever you want. And it's those discounts. Those are killers. Those are silent killers. You think you're getting more business, but that 10% off the top, guess what? That's a killer.
So true.
Cool. Awesome, man. So let me ask you, one of my token questions I always ask is, if you're going to hire a CEO to take the reins for your company, what's the one book that you're going to require that they read before taking over for you?
I love that question, and it takes me no time to think of the answer. It's a book called Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman. He's the guy that developed EOS, and I hate to circle all the way back to that, but it really illustrates the purpose of what the visionary and what the integrator, typically like a CEO, COO relationship should look like, and how that works. And the visionary is incredibly key to the business. They're the ones that set the vision and the direction. They're the ones that set the culture, and they set the tone for the entire company. And then it's the COO, or in EOS terms, the integrator's job to go execute on that plan. The key is super tight communication between those two and a really high level of trust. Now, if the CEO dictates a piece of direction to the COO and then the COO changes it or does something different, if they don't immediately communicate that to the CEO, you're going to have a breakdown, and it'll be of varying sizes, but your company will not execute. You will never grow like you should. You'll never meet your potential without the trust that that duo really requires. And so the Rocket Fuel book, it really outlines that relationship of CEO, COO. And man, when you hit that right, like the world is your oyster, and like everything falls in place. And that is the rocket fuel that they're talking about.
No, it really is, man. I love that book. And when the company's at the right place, that's one of the first books I recommend is when that CEO is looking for that COO to bring on board. Get Rocket Fuel. Absolutely, man. And understand. It almost pretty much gives you like exactly the characteristics of the person that you're looking for.
It does, exactly. That's right.
Yeah. Awesome. So what's next for TerraSlate, man? What's your guys' next big initiative or strategic moves?
Oh, yeah, I'm so glad you asked, because I'm incredibly excited about it. And what it's called is TerraSlate Dynamics. And
Okay.
what we're doing is trying to be at the leading edge of AI and automation. So we are automating almost everything in our business. And here's what I mean and what I don't mean. We're automating the copy paste. We're automating the way orders come into the website and then land on our order tracking system. We're automating the way we communicate internally of the company. And we're using AI to facilitate some of that. What's been incredible is that it's allowed everybody on the team to level up. They all have more time to focus on the highest and best use of what they do. And we've reduced the menial tasks for like 30% across the company. And oh my gosh, it's changed the company already. And we've only been in this 4 months. I was fortunate enough to get to speak at an event in Munich last month where I talked about what we're doing. And the pitch and the angle that I gave is like, look, paper is one of the oldest industries in the entire world.
Right, so Egypt or something, right?
Right. If a paper company can leverage automation and AI like the way we're doing it, any business can do it, and any business can benefit. And I keep trying to teach people how to do this stuff. I'm like, hey, let me show you how to do it. Let me show you what we're doing. And what immediately happens is they say, I don't actually want to know how to do it. I want you to do it for me. So that's the next step for TerraSlate, is we're starting to build these automations and scenarios for other companies. And it's so fun to see the results, because like we take a scenario live and it blows their mind and they want more right away. And it just makes, they're like, man, I've been doing the same thing for 30 years. And all of a sudden I get 2 hours of my day back. The first, like I walk in at 8 o'clock and I'm already 2 hours ahead. And I love that. Like the feedback is just super fun. So TerraSlate Dynamics is the next evolution for us. And man, it's been really exciting.
Congratulations on that, man. That's exciting to be able to allow the people on your team to be able to focus on those higher tasks, higher value tasks by implementing automation and technology and AI. That's fantastic, man. Let me take a few minutes to summarize some of my key takeaways from our time today, Kyle. So one is culture index. How to find the right people for your company, how to get the right person in the right seat at the right time. And it includes surveys, not of just the person that you're hiring, but of your existing team in and of itself, that take a survey about the position. And then it looks at the characteristics of the people on your team as well. And it finds the right person for you. And I think that's sexy and that's awesome. And I've culture index, just to agree with you, Kyle, has been phenomenal for everybody that I've known that's utilized it. The next one was EOS, implementing EOS, which is a highly disciplined methodology for running your business, and has been nothing short of amazing for you guys, everyone on the team. It helps you transition from status quo to continuous improvement, to measuring results, accountability across the team, and a system for how to do all of that. So I love that you brought that up. And pricing, man, I can't tell you how many people, even bigger companies, multi-million-dollar companies, are doing pricing wrong many times. And so, what you're talking about is testing the market, finding out what the market's willing to pay versus a cost plus, because you might be leaving money on the table. Don't do discounts. Define your value and then sell on that value. Don't never sell on price. And then the last is you guys are doing some amazing things in AI and technology, which is just awesome. Kyle, if there was one takeaway that you'd really want the audience to absorb from today, what would that be?
I'm gonna expand on what we talked about with that. Yeah. So one thing that everybody is often afraid of that works incredibly well, just requires the discipline. It's like playing the guitar. I'm gonna do it every day. Yeah. Get on your cell phone, dial for dollars for 1 hour a day, every single day, and you will make money. I guarantee you. You'll fall on your face and you'll have incredible wins, but you'll continue to get better and better at it. People think like, oh, I shouldn't need to cold call. We don't do that here. That's not who I am. But I mean, if you want to grow a business, you do not need to spend money to make money. I hate it when people say that. That's 100% not true. You dial for dollars, 1 hour a day.
Dial for dollars.
Yep. Hang up and dial. If it goes well, hang up and dial. If it goes badly, hang up and dial. Like, don't let the guy that was rude to you rattle you. It's a numbers game, right? And you're going to get a certain percentage of these people to take your meeting or to convert or to become customers.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get better at it. And all of a sudden your take rate or your rate at which people accept your offer or are willing to give you money for your products goes up and up and up. And it costs you nothing. It's a time game, but do that. If you do that and it works, call me, let me know. I'd love to hear about it because I think it's such an untapped resource. It's free and it's honestly easier than you think.
That's awesome, man. I love it. I haven't heard that in a bit. Somebody really, is coming out and saying dial for dollars. Very cool, man. Well, Kyle, if any of our listeners want to reach out and perhaps utilize your services at TerraSlate, or if they had any questions from the podcast today on anything you talked about, what would be the best way they could do that?
Yeah, hit me up. I'm on LinkedIn. Cool. You can reach me on my email, kyle.ewing@terraslate.com. And man, Patrick, next time I'm in Newport, let's jam. I have actually got a guitar there that I'll just go grab.
Awesome. Yeah, very cool. I got my Tyler down here, so we'll have some fun.
Right on.
Cool.
Rock and roll,
Kyle, thanks again for being on the show. This was fantastic. And there were so many just amazing pieces of information in here that so many people are going to get so much great value from. So thanks for being on the show.
Love it. And congrats on the podcast. You're doing an incredible job here.
Appreciate that, man. So for the listeners, please hit the like and subscribe button and help us spread the word about what we're doing. We're helping the next generation of CEOs and leaders be that much more successful. With that, this is your host, Patrick Rogers, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks a lot.